I hear R. Kelly dropped an album from jail. And there are a lot of you who are streaming it, uplifting it, buying it. Dear black people who continue to support R. Kelly, come here. Wipe your mouth. Because your post-traumatic slavery syndrome is showing. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite auntie uncle. It's your favorite pirate captain. It's your favorite goddess king. It's your favorite hood healer, high priestess, motivational dominatrix, LadySpeech in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. You are somewhere in the world. And you're sharing a little bit of time and space with me, so thank you for that. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling any of me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all my shenanigans, happenings, thoughts, and vlogs, and all the things that happen over here. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's video, shall we? Before we begin, I want to make it clear that I, as a black person, am having a very serious conversation with other black people. I understand that a lot of you will listen, and you know what? I'm happy. A lot of you need to hear some things. But this is a conversation I'm having with other black people. Feel free to remain in your place on the sidelines, listen and learn. And when you find yourself wanting to chime in, thinking you have solutions to the issues, I want you to remember that there are plenty of issues in your community that you cannot sit on the sidelines about, and you can definitely go and address. I'm doing that with my people. I'm doing that with me and mine. But I invite you to listen, because this conversation, it needs to be had. Secondly, I'm going to be mentioning, and I've already mentioned, post-traumatic slavery syndrome. You might hear me refer to it as post-traumatic slavery disorder. And I'm going to explain that in the next clip. But this right here, this book, I'm going to go ahead and give you a resource in the beginning of the video. This book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGruy. This book right here is going to help you understand at a more in-depth level some of the things that I touch on today. Now, let's talk about it. When I heard R. Kelly dropped an album from jail, I automatically knew so many of us were going to flock to support him. I mean, look at what happened during the trial. So many of you, so many of us showed all the way out to support this man who had overwhelming evidence of hurting black girls. This man who was proven guilty of doing heinous acts. This man who was living all the way out loud. This secret has been out loud for years. Y'all showed out. You showed so much love for this man. So much love. It was disgusting for fellow survivors like myself to see. It was heartbreaking for many survivors like myself to see. But I wasn't surprised then, and I'm not surprised now. Y'all support R. Kelly, black people who still do. Y'all support R. Kelly, black people who still do. Y'all support R. Kelly, black people who still do, for the same reasons you support Chester the molester at the family dinner. It's the same reason why you still invite that uncle who you tell all the children not to find themselves alone around to the family gatherings instead of telling that uncle he's no longer invited there. It's the same reason why we let the auntie who was inappropriate with the young boys, we let her slide and keep being inappropriate with the young boys. Yeah, that's something we don't talk about enough. It's the same reason why y'all let these toxic individuals who knowingly hurt our kids. It's the same reason why you keep letting them around our kids. Spoiler alert. I've already spoiled it in the title and in the beginning of this. It's your post-traumatic slavery syndrome. It's your post-traumatic slavery disorder that is showing. What is that? What is that? What is post-traumatic slavery syndrome? I'll tell you what it is. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome describes the hurt, the multi-generational hurt, mental trauma, pain that Black people have endured right after slavery. Y'all like to act like the enslavement of Black people was 500 years ago, was 200 years ago. It was less than 200 years ago, baby. In some cases in the United States, it was less than 100 years ago, darling. Up until the 1960s, there were still enslaved Black people in the South who did not realize they were free. Slavery was not that long ago. The enslavement of Black people was not long ago. And what happened to us during that was heinous. Y'all like to romance it. And that's because of our piss poor education, the absence of critical race theory. It wasn't just picking cotton. It wasn't just picking cotton. We now have research that speaks of the trauma that transcultural adoption oftentimes inflicts on those children. There's literal documentation. There are adoptees who are speaking out about what it's like to be taken from one culture and then to be adopted over, aka I'm talking a lot about how a lot of Western cultures will go over to Asian cultures and take those children and adopt them. There's evidence of the pain that that caused. That times 500 when you rip a people from their homeland. You steal their language. You take them on the most brutal boat ride of their life. What happened? The slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade was so impactful that it changed the way sharks behaved. The bodies, the Black people thrown overboard, the Black people who jumped overboard, the Black people who were purposefully unalived and murdered because they were thought of as chattel and property. The sharks learned to follow the ships and developed a taste for human flesh. It wasn't just cotton. It wasn't just field work. It wasn't just from sun up to sundown. A stealing of your language, a stealing of your person. Every single aspect of the family taken. It wasn't just African women violated and raped for breeding from the master. Oh no, it was everybody. It was babies being used as alligator bait. It was Black people being skinned alive and our skin, our hair used as chairs that to this day are still passed down. It was Black people's bones made into furniture and medicine. It was torture. 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 You know, there's a lot of modern day gory horror movies that I can't watch, because there's a lot of things that y'all think that, how could they think of how gory that is? You don't know your history. You don't know how brutal American terrorism really goes. Those things that we see in these horror movies, these are the things that actually ancestors, enslaved black ancestors, lived through. It is the memory of Marion J. Sims. They call him the godfather of gynecology. Experimented on the bodies of black women with no anesthesia, cut us open, and justified it with the belief that black people cannot feel pain in the way that white people can. It's more than just cotton. Your post-traumatic slavery syndrome is rooted in that. It is the mental, multi-generational anguish that we carry because our people endured things that had never been done on the mass level like that before. When I say your post-traumatic slavery syndrome is showing, this is what it's rooted in. Because of what happened to us was so disgusting and nasty. Because what's happening to us is so disgusting and nasty. There is something that we did to stay alive, to survive. And what it is we stayed together. We banded together, no matter what, because safety in numbers. One of the very real memories that lives in our DNA, and I say lives in our DNA because science has proven that we can carry ancestral memory in our veins and in our blood. This is knowledge that our ancestors have been telling us for years. The stories of your ancestors, literally, the stories of what they did, their memory, we have it in our DNA. Your bones and your blood remember. Your bones and your blood remember. Even if they don't teach you in school, even if you don't learn your history from a book, even if you are disconnected from your oral tradition, your bones and your blood remember. The great thing about this, it remembers your greatness and your magnificence and your magic. The messed up part about it is that it remembers your most recent trauma acutely. A big part of the enslavement of Africans during the transatlantic slave trade was breeding black people. You don't think that it was just the stud Negro, or as they said, the stud nigger. You don't think that was the only way they bred enslaved Africans, enslaved, displaced Africans, do you? What's the stud Negro? The stud Negro is a big black man with impressive DNA. Strong. The bull. Just like the bull on a farm, you breed that bull to all the cows. That's what it was. He was the stud. He was the bull. He was made to just make babies. That was one way of breeding black enslaved people. Another way was just to have everybody violate everybody. Fathers were made to violate daughters, brothers made to violate sisters and mothers. There were things called sex huts, sex cabins, where these things would go down. Enslaved Africans worked to the bone all day in the house or out of the house, because best believe there was no work that was blessed, whether you were in the house or out of the house. It was all brutal. Different, but brutal. After all of that, after a day of disgusting, inhumane behavior, A lot of times you were made to go to these places to perform, to be violated on a regular basis. Your brother, your sister, your family, people close to you made to violate you, made to do the sickest thing to you. And it wasn't just reserved to sexuality. Your brother, your sister, your people were oftentimes used to hurt you, to beat you, to unalive you. It was more than just picking cotton. What happened to us was heinous. And what we learned to do was understand that the person being made to do this to us, it's not their fault. They are being made to do this to us. It's not their fault. They are being made to do this to us. This is where your post-traumatic slavery, our post-traumatic slavery, this is where it's rooted in. This is where it's rooted in. The reason why you keep supporting R. Kelly, the reason why you keep inviting the family violator to the family dinner is rooted in this. It's rooted in this. It's rooted in this. It's rooted in this. When we had no one to give us justice, when we faced nothing but the abyss of enslavement, your bones remember that despair. Your bones hold the memory of the ancestors, and here you are in the now acting on that. There's been no time to heal. Our ancestors, some of them, begun to achieve liberation, and it isn't like we were welcomed into humanity with open arms. No. The anti-blackness got doubled down on, tripled down on. The racism got doubled down on, tripled down on. The goalposts kept being moved. Every single time we have reached towards freedom, liberation, there is another obstacle to bring us down. There has been no time. There was no time. There was no time for our ancestors to sit and heal. It wasn't like there was a vacation when you reached liberation. We were still being hunted. We are still being hunted. You support these people because it's your post-traumatic slavery syndrome that is showing. And I am telling you, we need to wake up and look at that in the face. Because we have to break these cycles. And we have to stop supporting these people. Your post-traumatic slavery syndrome is showing. We have to look at it. We have to look at it. Your hatred of black women is showing. Rooted in post-traumatic slavery disorder. Rooted in the enslavement. You were taught to be this way. You were taught to be this way. It is not our natural disposition to treat the divine feminine, to treat the divine other, to treat divine trans people, to treat divine. It is not in our nature to hate this way. It is colonialism as it has been beaten and oppressed into us that has taught us to be this way. Supporting this man who actively went out of his way to hurt black girls. We do this all the time in our community. It is because of the memory that is in our bones. We must confront it. We must unheal. We must decolonize. We must unravel. We must learn. We must educate. We must look at it so that we can repair ourselves, so that we can heal. It ain't right. but it's real. I know. It's hard to hold one of us accountable when we act in the heinous way of a colonizer. It's hard. Other black people know how hard black life can be. We know. We know it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. We know what type of treatment he's gonna get. We know. We know. We know. It's hard. But we have to begin to look at these things in the nuanced way. We have to understand and accept the way our history, our herstory, influence us today. We have to, because we cannot continue to protect men like him. We cannot continue to protect the violators that come to our family. We cannot continue to protect the women who violate. We cannot continue to protect adults who take the childhoods of children away from them. We cannot continue to sacrifice women, girls, boys, children, people, and keep violators safe. We can't. And the reasons why are nuanced. And we have to have these conversations. We have to. We have to. I am a healer, a leader, a survivor of child rape and molestation, a survivor of extreme physical abuse by the hands of my father, a survivor of rape as a young woman and sexual exploitation. I am an educator. I am a priestess. I am a priest. I am a teacher. I am a human. And I speak from all those spaces when I speak in this space. Though I am hurt and disappointed at the people who continue to support these people, though I am disgusted in so many ways, I understand, and I know exactly why. An invitation to learn your history, to learn our history. An invitation to ask yourself why. Why do you continue to support these people? And do not sit in judgment, just answer it and follow that answer down the rabbit hole. An invitation to unravel why you hate black girls so much. Yes, you. I know the answer. The indoctrination of white supremacy, the effects of enslavement of our ancestors, the continuous bombardment in the form of messages in media, subliminal and direct, that you should hate black women, the direct message from white supremacy. But unravel it in you. Unravel it in you. Look at how it affected you personally. An invitation to do the deep healing. An invitation to have an intelligent conversation. An invitation to question yourself. An invitation to decolonize. An invitation to confront your post-traumatic slavery syndrome. To the people who insist upon supporting R. Kelly, black people. To you, black folks who continue to invite the family violator to the family gathering. Your post-traumatic slavery syndrome is showing. And it's not only hurting you, it's hurting the community. This is an invitation to begin to heal. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have one more invitation, and that is to take care of yourself. This was heavy. This was heavy. This was heavy. Black folks, let's have a conversation in the comments. You notice how I said black folks, let's have a conversation in the comments. Non-black folks, you can comment. And if you need to comment on the impact of this, how this video impacted you, I'm fine with that. But this is a conversation that black people are having with each other. There are plenty of issues in each and every one of our communities that we all need to address. So I invite you to do just that. Use this as inspiration to address how problematic men in your community are being honored. Because trust, every community's got somebody. Problematic women, problematic men, problematic non-binary folks. You go over there in your corner and address it. And for you mixed folks, you're going to address a couple of folks. Real talk. Real talk. But in the name of real talk, for real, take care of yourself. Honor your needs. Identify what you need. And take care of yourself. I want to thank you so much for your support. I want to thank you so much for listening and tuning in. No disrespect is going to be tolerated up under this video. I have a zero tolerance for that. But open, honest conversation is definitely welcome. Let's do that. And on that note, I didn't want to take up all your time, but I did want to take up a significant amount to talk about some things, and I did that. So, I love you. I live you. I thank you so much for your support. And you know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling any of me, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with everything I'm doing over here. And now, God, Goddess, Ancestors, Lawa, Orisha, my spiritual team willing, I'm going to see you all in the next video. Peace.